Good afternoon, everyone. We hope that you're all safe and healthy. We would like to welcome you all on our career orientation, mentoring, and program advising series, or COMPAS. Before we start the program, we would like to acknowledge the presence of our Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Maria Teresa Trinidad Pitino, our Vice President for Academic Development, Dr. Mirna Quinto, the Assistant Vice President for Academic Services, Dr. Jean Pamitan, the Senior Director for Admissions and Financial Assistance Office, Dr. Michelle Acomolar, and the Dean of the Institute of Tourism and Hotel Management, Dr. Joy Sheila Era. COMPAS is one of the Academic Affairs Office new initiatives in collaboration with the Admissions and Financial Assistance Office to adapt to the changing learning landscape. This is to ensure that our students would still have the same quality of education and continuous learning. COMPAS is a series of featured interviews from respective industry experts from different disciplines. They will share their journey to success, from the reason why they chose their college degree and how it affected their current career. The hospitality industry is one of the fastest growing industries in the world and the industry that has been hardly hit by the pandemic. However, despite all the challenges, the industry has been resilient and adaptive to changing regulations. Our speaker for today is none other than Mr. Randie Gutierrez Jr. He's been working with Crimson Hotel Philinvest City Manila since 2015. He was director of rooms prior to being an executive assistant manager, which is a position he still holds today. He was the OIC who oversees the overall operation of the hotel, and he is currently the hotel manager of Quest Hotel. This year is his 17th year in the industry. He worked in various hotels, both international hotel chains and local brands. He started as a telephone operator and rose from the ranks in rooms division and sales and marketing. He was also a director of sales and marketing that led a hotel to achieve its highest sales and profitability. He also used to teach front office and rooms division in various universities in Metro Manila. Again, let us all welcome Mr. Randie Gutierrez Jr.
Thank you very much, Jam, for that wonderful introduction. First, I would like to thank the faculty members present today to witness this very wonderful activity. You know, kahit may pandemic, learning should not stop, right? So thank you very much. This is really a good way of sharing information, especially to the young aspirants of the country. Okay. Okay. So can you see my screen now?
Not yet, sir.
Okay. Can you see it now?
Yes, sir.
All right. So First, let me introduce myself. I'm Randy. I'm currently the hotel manager of Quest Tagaytay, as mentioned by Jam. So I've been in the industry for 17 years. So yeah, I'm old, but I don't look old. Okay, so I held various positions and I started from Telex. So Quest Hotel is in Tagaytay. So we have several brands under Chroma Hospitality, which is our management company. So I recently transferred from Crimson because I was relocated by our corporate office to Quest Hotel Tagaytay because the recent or my predecessor retired. Okay, so today I will be talking about my career journey. Okay, so um, I will be sharing experiences or my track record that I can sort of inspire you with. So again, my name is Randy. Some people call me Manong. Some people call me Senor. Some people call me RFG or Mr. G because the hotel industry is very small, right? So people in the hotel industry is really fond of giving you nicknames. So most common is your initials. So and also, please take note that I will be sharing my opinion. I might give you tips based on what I did in the past 17 years that I think helped me to be where I am now. But I do not claim that this is widely accepted in the industry. So different folks, different strokes. So it's up to you to adjust. You can pick some pieces from what I will be telling you today. But I'm not saying that you adapt everything. It's up to you. All right. Now, so Jam, all of the students now, all of the viewers now are all HRM, or some of them are from high school.
Um, it's a mixture, sir. So we have representatives from the Institute of Tourism and Hotel Management, and we also have senior high school students around the country.
Okay. Before I start, Jam, can I ask you a question? Why did you're a hotel and restaurant management student, right?
Actually, sir, no, I'm a
No?
graduate of psychology po.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So I will start now with my track record. Okay. So I started in 2004 at Century Park Hotel as a telephone operator. I really wanted to be a front office associate. It's just that way back in 2004, which I'm going to talk a little bit more of that about the competition being tough. Okay, so I became a telephone operator because I cannot really get the position that what I wanted during that time because of the stiff competition. So I started as a telephone operator, and then I transferred to Diamond Hotel same year because I was a contractual employee in Century Park Hotel. And then as a front office associate, actually, I was employed in Diamond Hotel as a club concierge. I was the first male club concierge in Diamond Hotel. We call it the Diamond Club. And then I was transferred to front office agent where the transactions is heavier. And then I transferred to Sofitel Philippine Plaza as a front office supervisor. I actually held three positions. I was a rooms controller, a groups and convention champion, and a front office supervisor. So I'm the only one who held that position, three positions at the same time in Sofitel Philippine Plaza, 2006. And then 2008, I left Sofitel Philippine Plaza and I transferred to Crown as an assistant manager or equivalent to a duty manager under front office. Then I transferred to Maxim's Resorts World Manila. So I was part of the pre-opening team way back in 2009. Then because of the health conditions, because there was no sort of ruling in Pasay that about smoking because in Resorts World you can smoke anywhere, including the toilet or toilets. So it took toll on my health. So that's why I needed to leave Maxim's as a assistant butler manager, which is an equivalent of assistant front office manager. I was a project coordinator or project manager under HII or Hospitality International Incorporated. So this is a management company that basically manages all the hotels, basically 4-star or 3-star hotels. So I'm the one being sent by the company to open the hotel. So guys, I'm discussing I'm showing you my track record. I'm discussing my position because you need to observe. You need to listen carefully about the roles that I held in the past. So as I rose from the ranks, and how long did it take me to get that position? Okay, so you have to um, listen closely about my position. And then in 2010, I transferred to Ramada. Actually, it's the same company. Ramada is a management company, was being managed by Hospitality International Incorporated, but the brand is Ramada or Windham. Okay, so I was the FOM. Then I was promoted to director of rooms, and later on, became a director of sales and marketing. Then in 2015, I transferred to Crimson Hotel Philinvest City Manila as director of rooms, and then last 2019 August, I was promoted to executive assistant manager, meaning I was number two, below the general manager. So basically, the division of labor between the general manager and EAM is that the GM, though, is still the overall in charge or overall head of the property, but he's more of the admin side, and I am the operation side. So meaning food and beverage, rooms division, housekeeping, engineering, and IT. So most of the admin works would be sales and marketing, finance, and security. That would be on the side of the general manager. And now presently, as mentioned, I was transferred to Quest Hotel Tagaytay as hotel manager. Okay, so in here you can see the picture. On the left side, that was my photo way back 2004. I was graduating. Okay, so I was actually part of the um, HRM Society. I was the general secretary of the HRM Society, and then the Nutrition and Dietetics Council. So on the right was my very first job as FOA, which is my dream job, front office associate. Because when I took the course, I told myself that I really want to work behind the desk, not as a wait staff, not as a reservation, but as a front office associate. That is the plan. At first I wanted to take commerce, business management. Kasi before meron commerce, mga lumang course, may commerce, management. But I ended up taking HRM because my high school friend did. I was like, business related. I was like, it's business related anyway, so why not? So I thought I was not gonna be active at all, and I was like, I will just pass my exams the best way I can since I didn't have any idea what the course was all about. But surprisingly, I was very active academically and in our association. So um, sadly, my original course was really, I wanted to be a lawyer, something like that. Okay, not really HRM. Okay, but I decided to take HRM because I was exposed in different hotels when I was young. So I kept on visiting hotels because of my cousin's debut. So like for example, Mandarin, Western Philippine Plaza, which is now Sofitel Philippine Plaza. So I was actually amazed with the people, the grandmothers people standing behind the desk. They were wearing pearls. They were wearing suits. So I said, you know what? They look handsome and beautiful. So someday I want to work there. So there were nights I was even dreaming that I'm walking in a very big lobby, which I realized was Sofitel. So my dream came true because I became a front office supervisor in Sofitel. So the more you think about it, if you really want to be to be something, you keep on thinking about it and you work for it. Okay. All right. So in 2004, okay, the competition was really tough. When you are a hotelier would ask you which area, because there were only two areas where most of the hotels are located. That's Bay Area and Makati area. So you don't have BGC. Okay, you don't have BGC, you don't have Ortigas. Well, you have some hotels in Ortigas, but I was actually aiming for five-star hotels. So the only hotels available during that time would be Manila Hotel or six hotels: Hyatt Hotel, Manila Hotel. Actually, Hyatt Hotel was the newest during that time. That was 2005. They opened 2005, but just the same, I included it there. So imagine if there were hundreds of thousands of students during that time, and you have so very few hotels available for you, And even if you have, say, 10 hotels, because I was aiming for 5-star hotels, I don't want to work in a 4-star or 3-star hotels because I really want to learn the finest standards in the industry, right? Especially if you will be graduating from the top 5 universities or um, glamorous universities. So why would you settle for something less, right? If you are from FEU, why not work in a 5-star hotel? Okay, so aim for the best hotel so you can learn. Okay, so imagine if you have 6 hotels or 7 hotels or 10 hotels. Do you think that they were hiring for like 10 people in their front office? Most probably they only have one, and not all of them are hiring, right? So it was very difficult for all of us. That's why most of them were going abroad for jobs. But there's still jobs. But if you don't want to go out of the country and work simply because you wanna be a waiter in Dubai, you cannot really stay in Manila because there's no jobs. There was no jobs. Okay, so there were no jobs. So in Makati, so you only have very few hotels as well. You have 4-star hotels, you have 3-star hotels, but of course, like what I said, I was aiming for 5-star hotels. So those were the only hotels available during that time. Actually, I work in Oakwood Premier as a casual telephone operator. I work in Oakwood alongside with the people in Century Park. So I was working in the morning, and I working in the afternoon in Oakwood, and then I was working graveyard shift in Century Park. So I was really too ambitious. So I said, I really wanna learn. So I will work in 2 companies at the same time, or alternate. Yeah. So it was really difficult for the hoteliers, to the point that some of the hoteliers were, did not even experience to be a hotelier. Some of them switch careers from, unfortunately, from hotelier to call center agents, right? But tourism is the way forward. The future is in tourism. Okay, actually, the bulk of our income for the Philippines is coming from the tourism or the service industry. So when you search for 5-star hotels in way back 2004, you can really, or you can see very few 5-star hotels. But now, if you're going to look at the TripAdvisor and you filter hotels and 5 stars, you have at least 37 hotels in Metro Manila. So basically, imagine the growth of the tourism, and by extension the growth of hotels and the lodging industry. Okay, so according to um, Top Hotels research, you have at least 66 projects in the pipeline. Okay, 47 of which is 4-star hotels, and the remaining 19 hotels would be from the 5-star bracket. When I was in 2004, looking for a job, you can rarely see news that hotels are opening. There were actually one a year, at most two, before you reach year 2010. 2005, Hyatt Hotel and Casino opened. 2006, Crown Plaza Galleria opened, and then nothing. The growth is really by leaps and bounds nowadays compared to our time. So you have so many brands, the international brands coming in our country. Before there was Sheraton, then Sheraton left, Sofitel left. Now we have Sofitel. Now we have Sheraton. Now we have Marriott. We have all sorts of international brands. We have Ritz Carlton in Newport in RWM. So there are so many projects, so many jobs in the future. Especially after pandemic, the companies would kneel down and beg for you to be part of their company, because some people, there were studies that some peoples now who do not have a job as you know, the tourism is down as of now because of the pandemic, right? So some of them switch careers already, meaning not careers meaning to say they go to call centers, but because they opened up their own business, and some of them won't want to go back to the industry, right? So there are so many opportunities after the pandemic. Okay, so you have already planned so many international brands are planning to invest in our country 2021 up until 2024. So I'm only talking about 21 and 22. So imagine the other brands interested to invest in our country. Okay, so Manila will take the lead with 17 hotels with 4,990 keys, and Cebu City with 5 hotels, 944 keys, and Lapu-Lapu City will get 3 new hotels. So you have so many options. It's not only that you have available jobs out there, you have options. You have options. Before, if you want to work in Cebu, what hotel in Cebu? In Davao, what hotel in Davao? Marco Polo Davao. And then afterwards, Apo Hotel. That's it, right? In Cebu City, you want to work in Cebu, what hotel? What five-star hotel, right? If you are a young, energetic guy who would like to, work far away from home, you want to work in a city, a modern city. At the same time, you can go around and enjoy the nature. That would be Cebu, right? Or Bohol, right? So you have options. So you can work in Manila near to your home, or you can work in Cebu away from the home and away from your home, and because you're adventurous, right? So you have options. Now, in 2008, the international arrivals in Manila was 3.1 million only. Okay, in 2020, it increased at 8.2 million. So look at the difference. Every year, the international travelers are increasing. So means to say, along with the international travelers, you need to increase the capacity of your rooms. So means to say, if you have so many keys or rooms, or you have travelers, then you have to increase the number of rooms and keys, right? So as of now, we are lagging behind against our neighbors, against Vietnam, against Malaysia. So they have more travelers, arrivals compared to us, right? So imagine we are the last amongst the progressive or the developing countries, and yet we have so many hotels already opening up. So if the Department of Tourism, which is really working hard on improving the infrastructure, and then the mechanism, the systems, the available technology for the tourists, imagine how many hotels would be opening in Manila. So you really don't have to go to Dubai, right? You can actually enjoy learning and earn um, the same as what you will be earning in Dubai in the comforts of your country or your home, right, near to your home. So even so, like for example, you cannot find a job here. There's nothing suitable for you, which is very impossible. So the number of international travelers is increasing. Yes, we're lagging behind, but other countries, they have so many travelers year on year. The number of international travelers are increasing. So you have so many options. Dubai wants you. Vietnam wants you. Thailand wants you. So if you can speak languages, that's why I don't know if you have international or foreign language in HRM. That's why those schools or universities offer foreign language, right? If you can speak Korean, if you can speak Japanese, then they're all Japan and Korea want you too, right? So there are so many options. Okay, so trivia lang, no? The very first hotel in the Philippines is Hotel de Oriente. Okay, siya ang pinakaunang hotel in the Philippines. Okay, so siya lang din ang merong, aside from uh, um, Malacanang, I think, or Manila Hotel kung saan nakatira yung president noon. The other building that had a telephone number would be Hotel de Oriente, and the number is 2. Okay, so telephone number ni Hotel de Oriente is 2. So imagine mo, pag nag-ring yung telepono mo, ibig sabihin yung presidente na ang kausap mo, right? So the very first hotel is Hotel de Oriente, which is located in Binondo. All right. So we have also several local brands. Chroma Hospitality Incorporated of Philinvest, of course, our management company. We have Seda Hotels of Ayala Land, Robinson's Hotels and Resorts of RLC, hospitality innovators and Enderon hospitality management. You even have Mega World. Okay, the point being is that um, left and right company or local brands are springing up, right? That's because they realize that why can't we launch our own branding, right? Most of the Filipino brands, they would say we are known for the warm Filipino hospitality because we're Filipinos, right? And we're famous with our hospitality. You know, taking in foreigners or whatever visitors with utmost care. So why can't we build our own brand, right? So because of because the like what I said, the way forward is up for the tourism industry, right? So so these companies realize that there's so much potential. So why can't we build our own chain like Chroma? We have Crimson, we have Quest, we have in Cebu. So we are one of the biggest local hotel chains in the Philippines. So you have Seda and you have Robinson's Hotel, right? So you even have management companies like Hospitality Innovators and Inderan. So also the management companies are springing left and right simply because there are so many hotels to manage. Why would they build their own company if you don't have any hotel to manage? And what is good about our industry is that it is evolving. Before, lahat ng hotels lang is most of the hotels are hotels, right? But now you have condominiums. So yung mga condominiums or yung mga residential, they turn it into a time sharing. So time sharing siya and then magiging hotel na rin siya, parang service apartments in a hotel setting. So the opportunities are endless. You don't want to work in a fast-paced hotel like a Sofitel or like a Crimson, then work in a four-star hotel. Kahit four-star hotel, pero 800 rooms naman siya, kahit like Remington. You want a slow, laid-back setting, then you can work in a condominium or condotel. You have Mega Worlds. They are famous for that. They have Savoy. They have Belmont. Okay, so you have so many options to choose from. Yeah. So it's fun to be a hotelier, right? So at first, I told myself that I'm going to be a FOM, then afterwards I'm going to retire. So I have my timeline, okay? But I enjoyed being a hotelier. So one moment. Okay. So if you are a hotelier, you will become artistic. Okay, you will become artistic whether in F&B or in rooms. Like for rooms, we set themes during Halloween, Easter, Valentine's, Chinese New Year, etc. Okay, so um, hindi ka naman interior designer or whatever, pero you will become artistic because you have to, and you will learn to be one. So kung meron kang mga occasions, like when I was a director of rooms, I need to set a theme in the room so that the guests would feel the occasion. If it's a Halloween, then we'll put some web on the lampshade, and we'll put some dark candies or dark chocolates or Dracula made cake, something like that. So if it's a Chinese New Year or Easter, we're going to put some eggs inside the room, and it comes with the package. Okay, so that's why I'm not really an artistic type of person, but the angle, where you're going to put it, the scientific reasoning behind it, where you're going to put your setup inside the room. And if you are a director of F&B, you have different themes, right? You have the British, if it's Bastille, the French liberation. So you will set the restaurant French themed, right? You have the British cuisine, you have the Spanish cuisine, so you have the Vietnamese cuisine. So basically, you have to set up your buffet with decorations related to whatever country or cuisine that you are promoting. And then for current events, with the technologies available like messaging apps, information is much faster. If you are working in a hotel, you need to be updated, okay, with the current events and it's very easy. It will be much easier to make a conversation with your guest, which will eventually create a relationship between the two of you or build a rapport. Of course, not on intimate level, so you have to have a limitations. Okay, and then special occasion. If you're the type of person that often misses all important occasions like Father's Day, Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, etc. If you are a hotelier, it's impossible for you to miss those occasions because as a hotelier, if I'm a director of rooms or director of sales, that is my one way of taking advantage the situation and then and launch a promotion. Okay, so I never missed an occasion. So um, you will never fail to greet your loved ones. Okay, and of course celebrities. Okay, so this is one of the fun things that a hotelier get to enjoy if you are a hotelier, right? So mas magiging artistic ka, mas magiging matalino ka because of the current events. You should study current events and then a special occasion, you wouldn't miss a special occasion. And of course, the celebrities, okay? So I'll be sharing you some of my experiences in Crimson. Yeah. So this is during the Wonderland. So we were able to house or accommodate SG Louis, Bag Riders, Hon, and um, I don't know if you know these people, but I'm not Gen Z. These are famous, well known by Gen Z. So you have Danielle Caesar, Love, and Jess Connolly, and Liza. Okay, so those are some of the celebrities that I encountered in Crimson. So isang hotel pa lang siya. Okay, but on a serious note, okay, being a hotelier helped me to be a better person. Okay, so more than a glamorous job that it is, it's how the job made you a better person. And yes, you heard me right. For me, it is a glamorous job. For me, guest services is not only about bowing and smiling. Okay, intelligent, anticipative, and decisive people have guests enjoy the stay, not smiling and bowing. Okay, guest services is an art. The way you look is an art. The way you speak is an art. The way you wave your hands is an art. Even when you walk up the stairs, there's a scientific um, explanation or reasoning behind it. So if you are walking upwards with a woman, walking upwards, the male should be ahead of the female. And when you are going downwards, it's the female who should go down first before the male so that you cannot see the whatever you don't that should not be seen by the male, right? So it's an art. So hotelier is not, a showbiz type kasi doon sa business management pag sinabing customs, management, tapos pagdating sa HRM, yan yung mga showbiz daw na parang easy. Being an HRM student is not easy. If you will take it seriously, if you will hit your reference books, like what Jam mentioned, I used to be a professor. Those are very useful. You have to read your books and you have to study your ARR, your average daily room rate. It's in the textbooks. Okay, so you just have to read it, the inventory processes, etc. Okay, yeah. So um, for me, it is a glamorous job. After all, when you enter a hotel, you're expecting to see glamorous people, right? So, pumasok ka ng hotel, you wanna see good-looking guys, good-looking women, right? So that's actually what led me to consider the course, right? I look smart, I'm confident, right? It helped me to boost my self-esteem because I wear a suit, right? And I speak frequently. That's why my communication skills improved. Before I was very shy to talk, right? So because communication skill is not about how depth your vocabulary is, right? So you have to speak, you have to be heard. Okay, so yeah, so I became a better person because I became empathetic. It's a cliche when people say that one of the secrets to be a good hotelier or customer service provider is if you are empathetic. Yan, lahat ng mga training, lagi sinasabi nila yan, you have to have empathy and sympathy. It is the most frequent mentioned word in every customer service training along with sympathy. And yet, surprisingly, very few people know how to show empathy. Mahirap siya. It's not very hard to do. It's very hard to do. Kahit sabihin mo lang, empathy. But it's very hard to do. That's why being a hotelier, if you are empathetic, then kung akala nila, if they think that being a hotelier is very easy, well, hindi yun dapat lowly regarded kasi maraming characteristics ang isang hotelier. Okay? Especially if you work in a 5-star 600 rooms with 300 departures and 250 arrivals every day, like Sofitel, the more transactions you have, the less you become empathetic. In the middle of your duty, you will start thinking that guests should understand you as well because they see long lines in front of them and you are tired. Hence, they should spare you of any complaints and pity you. Sadly, it doesn't work that way. But for me, it's very easy. So stop, breathe, look at the person and think that you are seeing yourself in the mirror, or you're looking at your mother, sister, or father. Then you will begin to stop being aggressive, and that's when you will start listening and not hearing. So because those are two different things. You're hearing, but you're not comprehending. You don't filter, you don't digest. Unlike listening, you understand. Okay, so so I became more empathetic. Impatient. I was a well, actually I'm still a fast-paced person. I want everything to be fast. I think fast. I used to speak fast. I hate people who talk slow. I simply hate slow people. Okay? That's why I was very impatient. Now I am more patient because you need to adjust to the pacing of your guests, of my guests. I learned how to adapt to people. Of course, it is the guest who will dictate the conversation, lead the conversation because you're, especially if the guest is complaining. So you have to listen. You cannot be too aggressive and drive the conversation. You have to hear him out. Okay. So I learned how to adapt to people. I learned how to observe people more. I learned to efficiently profile them. Okay. And, relationship needs time. Talking to people takes time. Understanding requires time. So I have to be patient. If you want to be a hotelier, you have to be patient. If you are not, then you will learn to be patient. Okay? Hindi naman totoo na pagka lahat ng hotelier patient. If you are impatient now, you will learn to be patient. Okay? If you are patient, then you will be more patient. Okay? I was apologetic. I became apologetic. One of the difficult words to say, they say is sorry, right? Even if you don't mean it, it's still hard to say sorry. But if you're a hotelier, the word is so cheap that a bag of tomatoes is far more expensive than our sorry. All right? So, madaling mag-sorry. Train kami to say sorry. Okay? So, the more na madali magsabi ng sorry, the better. Pero the tough part is how you say it in a sincere way. Okay, so maraming training sa hotel doon. How would you look kahit yung pag-nod mo ng 3 beses na gano'n. So medyo mag-lean forward ka. So there's so many trainings about customer service. You don't say, okay, sorry, sorry, sorry. So there's an art when you say sorry. It's not about uttering the word. Okay, and then I became more humble. Okay, I learned to be humble. If it's a complaining guest you are talking to, you are always wrong, right? Kung may nagko-complain, you consider yourself always wrong. Yes, you are always wrong because guests are always right. Of course, you are always wrong in front of a complaining guest, so you can never be right. So you have to. I'm sorry. You have to accept being wrong so that you can be right in the end. Because if you are always wrong, that one of the advantages of accepting that you are wrong is because you will come up with multiple suggestions. Okay, options that a complaining guest can choose from. Pag humingi siya ng, for example, free transportation, pero wala naman kayong transportation, so you should have options to offer aside from, well, not aside from, but if you cannot give what he is asking, right? So you have to give alternatives. So a set of alternatives if you can give what the guest who thinks he is always right can choose from. I know I cannot win against a guest because I should not. That was never the goal, 'di ba? Hindi pwedeng ang goal mo ay manalo ka against the guest, okay? It should be the guest, okay? So, humble, okay? Appreciative. If you are a hotelier, you will be more appreciative. A simple dirty letter with commendation of guest written on it will really make you happy. Minsan, pagka niregaluhan ka, hindi ka masyadong appreciative or yung pagka may sinabing touching words or touching phrase sa'yo, you don't really appreciate, right? But if you are a hotelier, you will become more appreciative. Well, number one reason it is one of of our targets or one of our KPIs, key performance indicators, which is the basis of our performance. KPI is the determining factor, okay, if you will receive a bonus or if you are qualified to be promoted. So pag hotelier na kayo, may kanya-kanya tayong set of KPIs. You will appreciate everything, especially if a guest shouts at you and your boss will smile and tap you on the back kasi hindi mo nilabanan yung guest mo. So, syempre, yung boss mo, that's a one way of telling your staff that you did a great job. The guest was shouting at you, but you were able to manage the situation, right? So for us hoteliers who had 300 checkouts or 200 arrivals, that's something to us. Okay, so we are more appreciative. So I became a better person in the hotelier because of my experiences in the hotel industry. So whatever you learn at work, you can bring it at home. You will pay attention to the things you have been long neglecting because you become a better person. If you can be patient with um, a guest who is a complete stranger, right, to you, why can't you be with your mom or sister, right? Okay. So when I was starting, kasi when I look back, okay, um, if I'm going to start all over again, will I be able to achieve what I have achieved in the past? What did I do in the past that allowed me to be where I am today? Okay, so I realized these are the things that I did in the past 17 years, or at least when I was starting, and then some of them along the way. Number one, know. Okay, know yourself. Know what you want. The early, the better. Okay, the problem of most people nowadays is that they don't know what they want because they want to do so many things. For me, that's one of the top hindrances for rapid growth. So when I was in RWM, we had an open house. I was interviewing. We were there were I think 10 interviewers, and each interviewer were interviewing at least on average 70 applicants a day. Some of them came from good schools or universities, really top universities. And when you ask them the basic questions like, what do you want to become? Because if you work in a hotel, it's not really a hotelier, okay, hotelier nagmamanage ako ng hotel. It doesn't work that way. If you are in a hotel, you have a specific or a mastery. You can be work in sales and marketing, you can work in rooms division, or you can work in F&B. It cannot be lahat matututunan mo siya. Well, time will come, you will become a general manager, but there should be a specialization. If you want to be in F&B, if you want to be in rooms, if you want to be in reservations, if you want to be in revenue management, or if you want to be in sales and marketing. So that's why it's really fun to be a hotelier because you have so many options. It's really colorful. Okay, it's so sort of an area wherein it's a buffet area for of options, right? So you can choose. Ayaw mo ng reservations, they fine. You can be FOM, FOA. Okay, you don't want to be FOA. That's not your thing. Then you can be a wait staff, or you can be in the kitchen, or you can be in purchasing, or if you can be in sales and marketing. So you have so many options. Okay, the problem is they don't know what they want. Okay, just give me whatever is available. Okay, so that is not rapid growth because you will be sort of, it will slow you down because you are in the process of knowing what you want. You will try different colors of chocolates before you tell yourself that white chocolate is for me. Okay, so fortunately for me, at the very beginning, I know that I want to be a front office manager. Actually, that was my only dream, to be a front office manager at the age of 30. Okay, next would be focus. Okay, do not deviate from the plan. Okay, identify the steps you need to take to reach your ultimate goal. You may adjust the steps, but do not deviate. If your plan, like for example, me, I said I started as telephone operator, but I wanted to be a FOM, so the start should be FOA or front office associate, right? So, but um, the industry was, struggling during that time. The competition was tough. I started as a telephone operator. That was not the ideal start for me, but still, telephone operator is part of, or telex is part of front office, which would actually lead me to be a FOA, which would actually lead me to be a FOM. So I did not deviate from the plan. I just adjusted the step. Okay. So focus, do not deviate from the plan. Okay. And then compete, always aim for the top spot. Okay, so compete and win. So you will stand out and you will always be in the minds of the people around you, that you do not settle for something less, that everything that your hands make is nothing but gold. Okay, that's why in the industry I'm known for being competitive. I always compete, even if it's a small game in a very short game in a training, something like that. So I always compete. Okay, so I'm always in the mind of people as a winner. Okay, someone who is capable, someone who will always say yes to the challenges. I do not turn my back any challenges. I do not quit. Okay, I want me to be known by people around me with the works, with the results of the products by these two hands. Okay, not because I have a backer, or you know anyway. Okay, people. So be friends with smart and responsible people. I surrounded myself with managers. So way back in Sofitel, you cannot see me talking to front office associates in my during lunch breaks, or during snack, we call it merienda, what you call that, in Sofitel. um, you can see me often talking to managers, to duty managers, to front office managers, to reservations managers, because I keep on talking. What are you doing if this happens? If, for example, there's a fire, what are you going to do as a duty manager? Because I was a front office supervisor. The next step would be duty manager, and I said in 1.5 years, 1.5 year time, I will be a duty manager. Okay, and so I became in Crown Plaza. But for me to pass the interview, I need to know, right? I don't have any idea. If the front office manager of Crown Plaza will ask me, you're applying as a duty manager, but you are a front office supervisor. You don't have any experience as a duty manager, so why would I get you? There are so many people applying as a duty manager, so you are at the bottom of the list. So why would I consider you? That's actually one of my weaknesses already, right? So I need to prepare. So at least if I don't have the experience, I have the answers. I have the idea, right? So I know the emergency procedures. I know if what we're going to do if there would be fire. I know what to do if there would be theft, if there would be emergencies. I know the answers to that. So what are we doing during the fire drill, etc., etc. So I don't have the experience, and I didn't have the experience, but I have the correct answers, the best answers, the best, unique, unusual answers to the question. So I didn't have the experience, but I got the job. Okay. Okay. So, like what I said, I always compete, right? So I always nourish myself with the knowledge that is free out there, and then I can absorb and then apply at work. So I keep on comparing myself with others, or to others. I keep on researching. I keep on reading. Okay, so I really like reading. Okay, so these are the things that I have fond of reading or knowing. So technology, okay, technology. Know the latest technology. Read. There are always equipment for everything, new equipment for everything. You always have new apps for check-in, for check-out, for cleaning rooms, for releasing rooms, for guest requests, for engineering, etc. There are apps that you can integrate with your workflows or with your PNPs that would make it easy for you. Okay, like for example, when I use an application to an app, Trello, to make our process easier for housekeeping. Okay, because if the housekeeping would actually call the room attendants would actually call the room coordinators to tell them where they are. Okay, so if you have 20 room attendants and then it's in the morning, so you have so many checkouts, so front office would be um, um, calling you left and right every minute, okay, asking you to check these rooms, asking you to check these rooms. So in a minute or at the same time, you have like 5 calls that you need to tend to, right? But if you can find a way on how to decrease the number of calls so that the housekeeping coordinator would be more efficient, then why don't you do it, right? So we have the Trello, which you can actually put your location in the app, then there's no need for you to call the coordinator just to give your location, right? So if I want to know where you are, I can just go to to Trello and then locate you, right? But that is a very cheap app for the hotels. There are so many technologies available there, more than you can imagine. Okay, though some of them are expensive, some of them are affordable, but it's really great. Those are great technologies to integrate with your system in your system to make your operations really efficient. Okay, issues. Okay, what I meant by issues is that issues in the hotel. Okay, what are the problems in the hotel from a guest, right? So I keep on reading TripAdvisor or other channels like booking.com or Agoda or Traveloka. So all those are what you call OTAs, right, or channels. So all of those channels are offering a way to, for you to give your feedback. Okay, so I keep on reading the TripAdvisor. So what are the problems that are most of our guests most of the guests are complaining, so that maybe I can anticipate and try to avoid it in our property, right? So it is actually one of my sort of pastime, to read TripAdvisors of different, reviews of different hotels. Okay, and then brands. Okay, I always familiarize myself with what's happening in the community, right? What are the new brands? What are the brands under Accor? Have you heard of Accor? So Sofitel Philippine Plaza is under Accor. So the top brand of Accor is Sofitel, followed by Pullman, which is also a 5-star but not as luxurious as Sofitel. Then followed by their 4-star brand, which is Novotel. Then followed by IBs, etc., etc. So I keep on update myself with what's happening in the community. Recently, Accor bought, not recently, but Accor bought Fairmont and Raffles. Marriott bought Sheraton and its group, right? So that made the Marriott the biggest chain in the world. So what are there? For example, what if Ritz Carlton is under what umbrella, or Four Seasons is what under what umbrella, right? So you have to familiarize yourselves with those kinds of things, because you want to first learn, right? So but what kind of service culture you want to learn? We have different service culture per brand. So Sofitel has its own, we have our own in Chroma, as a local brand. Marriott, they have their own, etc. So that you can aim for what brand you wanna work with or at. Okay, OTA. So OTA is the easiest way to get a booking. Know the different OTAs. Observe. Okay, online travel agent. So may mga traditional tayong travel agent. Okay, yun yung tatawag ka, bibili ka ng voucher, travel, plane ticket, etc. Now it's no longer the main source or the main channel or the main way of making a booking, especially if it's accommodation. It's OTA. So i-search nyo kung ano yung OTA, okay, and then try to observe. For example, booking.com o kaya Agoda, okay? So look at the page, you can learn a lot of things, okay? Think about the marketing and the revenue management. What hotel will you see first when you click a specific location like in Manila? Okay, so pagka nag-search ka doon, Manila, ano ang unang hotel na lumalabas sa first page? Okay, the hotels you see on the first page means they agreed first to give heavy discount and heavy commission to OTA or to booking.com. Then rating, then guest feedback. Okay, so yun yung mga factors or criteria para mahanap ka dun sa first page. Okay, bigyan mo na mataas na komisyon si booking.com. Mas mababa ang rate mo, super baba. Okay, and then mataas ang feedback mo, then you will be on the first page. So of course, yung mga hotel, nag-aagawan sila sa first page kasi ikaw na kaagad yung ibubook. OTA is the number one enemy of sales and marketing when it comes to revenue management. So I added OTA because you can learn a lot of things and this segment will continue to dominate the segmentation. Okay? So marami kayong makukuha sa OTA. Kaya ako, that is one of my habits. Nababasa ko yung feedbacks, nababasa ko yung reviews, what are the new hotels, ilang rooms sila, paano yung ano nila, yung mga pictures nila sa marketing, sa graphics. So I really learned a lot of things from just viewing the OTA when I was young. Okay, up until now naman. Okay, and then again, people, know the people around. Go to LinkedIn. Okay, that is actually my pastime then. I go to LinkedIn, I search by position. Who are the director of rooms out there? Look at their track record. Basahin mo sila. Paano tong naging director of rooms? Ah, okay. Pagkatapos nito, naging director of rooms na siya. Okay. So who are the director of rooms of different five-star hotels? Magaling kaya ito sa akin? But that is just to motivate myself. Hindi naman ako nagyayabang o too proud of myself na dapat pinakamagaling ako. But that's just my way of motivating myself to become better. That I should not be complacent. That that I keep on learning, okay, and to be the best that I can, right? And then associations. Know the different associations that you can be a member of, like Ledor, okay? So yung like Ledor, yung International Association of Chief Concierge. I don't know if you know Andy Pongko. Fortunately, when I was in Oakwood, I got to meet him. He was a chief concierge of Intercontinental. So Andy Pongko is considered as the father of Philippine concierge. Okay, so yeah, so you have to try to apply as a member of the Lecledor. Before kasi for chief concierge lang ang pwede. Ngayon kahit hindi ka naman chief concierge, you can be part of that association. So you have the the two cross keys. So yun siya, Lecledor. Okay, and then go around, visit the hotels, observe. Look at the walls, look at the floors, what material is it made of. So kasi pag director of rooms ako so housekeeping, under ko ang housekeeping. So whenever I go around, for example, I was visiting Soler, I was looking at the marble. So is this good for walking? I was looking at the wall. I was looking at the glass. Is it easy to clean? How do you clean this? How the chandeliers? And I was thinking, how often do they clean the chandeliers? So is it quarterly? Is it semi-annual or is it monthly? Right. So it's free, right? You can go and visit the hotel, especially for you students. Okay, if you want to learn, it's free. Okay, go to the hotels. Of course, not now. It's most of the hotels are closed, and it's not advisable because there's a pandemic going on. Okay, so but it's free. You have to go and visit different hotels and observe how the front office associates smile. Do they smirk? Do they are they responsive? If someone is 10 feet away from them, do they right away acknowledge? Do they tend to ignore them? Do they stand straight? Do they sort of laughing or eating in front of the guest? So things like that you can learn and adapt and take with you when you become a front office associate, or if you become a waiter, or if you become a a reservation or whatever you see in the lobby. Okay, so these are the pictures over the years that these are the friends that I worked with before. Okay, 17 years of fruitful career. My goal now is really to share um, what I know in the best way I can with the people around me. So I want them to be trainers like me as well. I want them to be as successful as I am. I believe that I am successful because for me, I get to do what I like doing the most, right? This is um, this is where I get the bread and butter on our table, or the food on our table, and I enjoy it. And I don't have any plans of stopping as a hotelier anytime soon. Okay, so that's my presentation.
All right. So much for that very inspiring lecture. As a person not very familiar with what happens behind the scenes of a hotel or anything involving the hospitality industry, it really made me appreciate more the work and effort that people provide in order for the guests to have a really enjoyable and memorable experience. Now, going back, we are now going to transition with the most exciting and interactive part of the session, which is the question and answer. I can see that we have multiple questions on our message board already, and we'll try to accommodate. And I'll start reading as it comes. Now, for the Q&A, students from the Institute of Tourism and Hotel Management will join us. Let us all welcome Mr. John Cruz, Miss Maria Isabel Menjola, Miss Arlov De Jesus, and Mr. Ron Valdez.
Hello.
Good afternoon, everyone, and especially to Sir Gutierrez. My name is John Del Cruz, a third year college student in Far Eastern University, and the documentation officer from the front office ambassador, and I'm also one of the ITHM ambassador for the HRM department. I have a question, sir. You have mentioned earlier your career journey, and that is a lot. So for my question, what is your most memorable encounter in your career in the hospitality industry? Because you mentioned that the hospitality industry has a tough competition. Can you share any experience? It can either be funny one or the most serious one.
Okay. For me, the most memorable would be when I was about to leave Sofitel Philippine Plaza. They abolished the position groups and convention champion, and there were 6 supervisors. And the policy is that if whenever we have a group, the sales and marketing would actually choose which supervisor will handle the group. So we actually lost Avon and Shell, 350 rooms a week for 1 week, 20 million revenue. And the condition is we will go back to you, but the one who will handle the account shouldn't be the one, shouldn't be the previous one. So they chose me, right? And I was in my sort of last week. I was about to transfer in Crown Plaza as a duty manager, but the financial controller and the sales and marketing were begging to me, and really wanted me to take on the account because it's really messy. I cannot actually explain it here, but that group was very, very messy. So I was able to deliver all the documentations. The last day of the group was Saturday. They started Sunday, and I was able to deliver all the documents. I think it's 3 boxes. It was 3 boxes of documentations. I was able to submit all of them on one day, and everyone was very happy. Everyone was very amazed. Everyone was very sort of, they were actually adoring me, right? Because it was for 350 rooms, for lunch, morning, and dinner, for you to break down all the charges for 20 million and deliver it on the last day of the stay and have it sent to the account so that you can be paid right away with 20 million pesos. That is really very impossible. And that's the last memory that they got from me. And I was very happy because for me, I'm very proud because I was again able to prove them of what I'm capable of.
Thank you so much, sir. I guess we have another question. Isa, the spotlight is yours.
Hi, good afternoon, sir. I
Hello.
am Isa Mendiola, a third year hotel and restaurant management student, and I am a member of the FU Guides, the official tour guiding and ushering in the university. So, for my question, sir, after 17 years of service in the hospitality industry, what are the best qualifications can you consider in hiring hotel personnel? Like, for example, in Quest Hotel, what qualities are you usually looking for your applicants?
Thank you, Isa. Yung pagkakasabi mo ng 17 years, parang ang tanda-tanda ko na. Ano? Anyway, all right. Like what I said, when you attend an interview, first and foremost, so you're asking for qualifications, right? For characteristics, right? So, but for me, to begin with, um, lagi namang usual eh, 'di ba? You are hardworking. It's superficial, right? The For me, what you need to learn is the best unique answers. Like for example, what are the common questions? What is your weakness? What are your strengths? How do you see yourself in 4 years? Or can you tell me something about, even with that question, what can you tell me something about yourself? Of course, um, more often than not, up until today, what they're going to tell me is whatever is on the resume. Don't you think I don't read? Do you think I don't read? Of course, I have read your resume, and my questions would be based on what you have submitted to me. So I'm not asking for anything about you that is on your resume, right? So basically, you have to be creative. Talk about your hobbies. Talk about what made you decide to be a, if you are a fresh graduate, what made you decide to take the course, right? Show me how willing are you, or willing to be a good hotelier someday, because you don't have anything. I cannot ask you anything technical, right? If you are a fresh graduate, I cannot ask you for, well, you have say Fidelio or Opera, but you have very limited access, right? And if you keep on insisting me that you know opera, that would be your end, because I'm very good in opera. Okay, so when you say you are well versed in opera, then prove it to me, and I assure you, you will fail. Okay, so means to say, if you are a fresh graduate, talk about yourself. What is so interesting about you, right? So why should I invest on you? Because I don't know you. If you are a front office associate in Marriott Hotel, probably I would have something about you, because your boss might be a good friend of mine. I know the managers in Hyatt, in Sofitel. I will not mention the name, the director of group. So we are friends, right? So if one of my staff is applying in a specific hotel, they would actually call me, hey, your staff is applying here. Okay, so get him. So what do you want to know? Is he good at this? Is he good? And then I would ask, in what specific area, right? So basically, if you are a fresh graduate, okay, you just have to be creative. Characteristics, Isa, the characteristic would be, you should be adaptable, you should be patient. Those are what do you expect me to tell you, right, Isa? But but the but my suggestion is, you have to be creative. Say the same words, but say it differently. Okay.
All right, thank you for that, Mr. Gutierrez. And we also have a question from our love.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon. Hello,
Hello, our
everyone.
love.
I'm Arlov Dides, who's a director for Advocacy and Community Extension of Pacific Asia Travel Association, or much known as PATA, and an ITHM ambassador. So, sir, my question is, in this period of pandemic, how do you think can we make the tourism and hospitality industry survive the challenges given the government protocols? Because these two industries, tourism and hospitality, are slowly being forgotten. How will you, sir, encourage our current students in the two programs, or those two who are still willing to enroll these programs, to continue and still believe that they can achieve something once they finish taking any of these two programs?
Okay, you are in what year, Miss Arla?
Second year students, sir.
Second year. So you will be graduating to 2023.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so according to the news, a pandemic will end at least next year, right?
Yeah.
So now, companies are, well, there were several hotels that closed, right? For example, the Marco Polo Davao closed, Makati Shangri-La closed. Okay, not because they don't have money, okay, but it's about money. Okay, So I know the reason, one of the reasons why they closed, but it's not for the lack of funds. Okay, because Kwok is one of the, actually, if I'm not mistaken, the richest in Singapore. So don't you think you cannot survive, right? But the companies now, like for example in Quest, we are closed now. Okay, as you can see in the background, there's nobody there, right? So that's the front, that's the front desk. Okay, so we're closed for leisure because of the MECQ. Okay, but the thing is, the companies are trying its best not to actually, get the employees displaced. So we are still intact. We have our roster, the regional roster, and we have not lost anybody because of the help or the support of the companies that are being extended to the employees. Of course, there are some people like if you are a casual employees, because the priority is the regular employees, or is the regular employees, right? But most of the casuals, we had to, send them home because we don't have business, right? But basically, the hotels are not closing. If the DOT is very very aggressive in helping the hotels, though there are some, hindrances. We are not getting paid with by OWA. We're not getting paid by some of the agencies, but they are really working hard to get the funds because, the hotels are being used as isolation, right? So if you are asking me, um, I think your question is, why is it encouraging? Why do I think it's still encouraging to
Yes.
be, to be a hotelier, right?
Yes.
So my question, my answer to that is not, it's not only the tourism industry that is being affected by the pandemic, right? So where are you going? So if you think this is discouraging, so what do you want to be? A doctor? Yan, ano siya, uso siya ngayon. Pero um, it's also for other industries. The businesses are slowing down, so we can cope up pa konti pa. Okay, kaya pa naman. Okay, so wala naman nagsasara na hotel. Okay, so like what I said, when the pandemic ends, there are so many jobs for you. Companies will be begging for you, for FEU students to be their employees. Okay, kasi marami nang nawala, maraming umalis, marami nang pumunta ng ibang ng abroad. So when we have the target, when we reach our target occupancy of around 80% or 70%, then ano na sila, mag-hire na sila, saan sila kukuha? Lahat ng mga foreigners umalis na. Ang mga number 2 or mga GMs ng lahat ng 5-star hotels umalis na sila. So there are more opportunities for ang daming na-promote na di ba, na-promote ako. O dati French yun eh. O nawala na siya, hindi naging Pilipino na. O di ba? Golden Gate, di ba? So daming opportunities.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Hmm.
So yun, good afternoon everyone, and to Sir Randy. I am Ron Einar Valdez, a second year tourism student, and I am the ITHM Tourism Ambassador under the Tourism Department and an executive committee at the ITHM Student Council. So my question is, since you have been in the industry for quite a long time, what advice can you give to our students while they are still in their college journey? What skills should they develop that you think are really needed now in the hotel industry and will make them fit or qualified in the corporate world?
Skills. Actually, HRM, 'di ba? More often than not. This is my opinion. I have ano no, I have there are faculty members here, but my opinion about HRM is that it's a bits and pieces of everything. So if you want to be, for me, okay, my opinion, patawad sa mga faculty members. If you want to be a chef, then why would you take HRM? Why don't you take culinary, right? Okay, because it doesn't give you the the full extent of what you need to learn as a chef. Okay, but there were so many instances before kasi di mauso ang culinary before eh. The great chefs that we have now are mostly HRM graduate. They learned in the hotels itself, right? So what skills? Lahat naman binibigay naman sa ano, 'di ba? Sa school, 'di ba? And it depends on what you want to become, 'di ba? Kung gusto mo maging F&B, and I guess you should hit your F&B book, and then you hit your F&B professor. Can you please train me on how to hold a tray, or can you teach me at the bar, or can you teach me how to concoct drink or a coffee, right? So that's the skill that you need. It depends on what you want to become in the future. So if you want to be a FOM, then read, go and explore the Fidelio or the opera. Meron naman eh. So what are the available reports? Is there a report for in-house guests? Is there a report by name or by room number? So if you want to be in for example in housekeeping, then you have to hit your housekeeping book or talk to your HK housekeeping professor. What are the chemicals that are available now for the pandemic? Like for example, we are using peroxide, okay, which is from Ecolab, acknowledged by the U.S. Department, and um, the major suppliers would be Ecolab and Diversey. What is the better? Which is better between the two, right? So if you want to be a housekeeping, then you should have the energy, diba, to really roll up your sleeves and do the dirty job, right? So do bed making, learn how to sort of spread the sheet seamlessly or flawlessly, right? So that is the skill that you need to take on. And alam mo, for me, HRM is medyo ang thought siguro, ang thinking ng mga ibang students is, ah, if I'm a HRM, they will teach me how to be FOA. They will teach me how to be reservation agent, or they will teach me how to be a waiter. No, that's why there's management at the end of the course. Hotel and restaurant management. You are being taught how to be a management and an owner. So you hit your books and you start acting like a manager as early as now. Okay, so kasi ayoko mag-FOA kasi nakakatakot dahil may pera, 'di ba? I mean, it's really disappointing. Your teachers are very good, giving you all the knowledge so you can be confident. Knowing that's where confidence is emanating from, right? So kaya sa totoo lang, ang dami ko nang na-interview. And ngayon, pagka na-interview ko sila, galing pa sila sa magagandang university. Okay? Kaya lang, they neglect the importance, or they don't really pay attention, or they are not really taking it seriously. Yung mga ino-offer ng mga schools, it's really useful. It's really useful. Hit your reference book, magagamit nyo siya. And when I ask, kasi I often talk to, kahit medyo malaki na yung agwat namin, I go to the front office and then I talk to them. How do you compute ADR? What is the difference between ADR and RevPAR? And which is more important than the two? And why do you think RevPAR is better or more important than ADR? So if a RevPAR is lower than ADR, so what does it say? What is your profitability rate for rooms? What is your profitability or GOP for FO and housekeeping? What is the biggest contributor in terms of your expenses? You will not share that information simply because he is only a FOA. Well, that's a deprivation of information.
Okay, sir. So may follow-up question lang po ako regarding my question. So as we know it, we are in the pandemic situation and our alternative learning is online classes. So since we know that tourism and hospitality industry is a service industry, so how would you think the students would be employable when they are applying for their job po? Parang kasi sa online classes, service is not on hand po for the students. So what do you think should the students develop while we are facing the online setup of the education po?
Well, I have not experienced asking. When I was in Maxims, I was in Butler Division. I interviewed at least 1,500 employees during for the duration of the opening stage, right? And I have not asked a single interviewee to show me how to handle a tray. Can you please demonstrate how would you serve bottle of beer, or how can you sort of um, fold a napkin? So, well, first and foremost, you can still learn that online, right? For example, housekeeping. What are the seven basic folding, seven by I think seven basic folds in housekeeping, right? What are the seven sauces, right? You have the bechamel, you have the tomato, etc. So you can still learn that, right? Right? So, so what would why would it hinder you to be employable if it's an online class, right? It's actually you are in the comforts of your home, um, comfortably learning, right? The problem is not with the program, the problem is with the student, right? So baka naman habang nasa bahay, hindi man pala nag-aaral, right? But the program is still really good. Okay, the materials, same reading materials, same source, same reference. So it's just that you're at home.
So yun, I agree, sir, with your statements that despite the pandemic, we should be making um, siguro dapat mas ginagalingan pa natin kahit online class lang, mas naghanap tayo ng alternative way of learning how to do this kind of service and such po. So yun, thank you for answering my questions
Mhm.
and yun lang po, sir. Thank you
Ako,
po.
I think naman, your professors are approachable naman. If you really want to learn a specific skill, maybe you can call the professor and say, make a ano lang a schedule. If you want to focus on learning, say, bartending or bed making, you just have to set a schedule with them na lang.
Yes po, sir. Thank you
Okay,
po.
o kaya call me.
All right. So thank you so much, John, Isa, Arlev, and Ron, for providing us such insightful questions. Now, not being part of the ITHM department, it made me really realize that having or working in the hospitality management isn't really easy, and that we shouldn't really take it lightly. So thank you so much for that. Now, sir, moving forward, we have some additional questions from our participants. All right, sir. Now, for our first question, can you cite some of the best perks of being in the tourism and HRM industry?
The best what again? Sorry, John.
The best perks.
Perks. Like what I showed you earlier. Okay, so free tickets. For example, in Wonderland, I had free tickets in concerts, free tickets in the movies during the premiere nights, and I get to watch or see the celebrities staying at the hotel, if that's what you meant by perks, right? But basically, if you are referring to the benefits, okay, the entry level in a hotel is far way bigger than that of, for example, banks, right? For example, dito sa Quest, Tagaytay. This is a Tagaytay hotel, right? Ang entry level, for example, ng bank as a teller would be around minimum. Say if the minimum is 18,000 or if I think it's around 16 to 18,000, that would be your entry level. Pero pag na regular ka sa isang hotel, which more often than not, if you are in FO or if you are in sales and marketing, lagi kang regular. Dito, pagka ang service charge namin is 70,000. That is service charge alone, not including your basic. So imagine at the age of 20, you're earning almost 100,000. So buy clothes, good clothes, then you can buy a car in 6 months, right? So hindi naman lahat ng hotels may 70,000 na service charge, but meron pa ring service charge. It's still bigger. Ang ano nga, Red Planet lang eh. Ang Red Planet is a small chain, napakaliit. Pero ang service charge nila ay 90,000.
Wow.
Diba? So in short, kahit sampang hotel, kahit 20,000 lang service charge mo, plus basic na 15,000 or 16,000, that's 36,000, far way better than that of a bank teller, right?
Well, that's really amazing, sir. It makes me feel jealous, honestly. Makes me want to consider having a change of
You
profession.
should.
Maybe, sir. I'll consider. But for our next question, sir, what is the best innovative strategy that the tourism industry has made to survive during this time, especially the pandemic?
Well, creative way to survive the business or health-wise? Kung health-wise, we have so many protocols, napakabilis ng industry, no? Especially if you are from a chain, we have I think in 2 weeks or 3 weeks we were able to revise all our protocols, health protocols, including the timely cleaning of the areas, the additional chemicals or PPEs that we need to wear, and then adjusting some of the policies like no contact with the guests, etc. We were able to revise all of those, I think, in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, okay? Because we don't know yet. People were actually struggling to know um, how COVID-19 can be spread, right? So, but still, all of the hotels, most of the hotels were able to revise their protocols. But in terms of business were really hit by the slow economy uh, because of the pandemic. But most of the hotels, like for example, we are being used or utilized as when I was in Crimson last March, our occupancy was like 80% or 70%. So we still have jobs, right? So um, we are still earning, not really earning that, we have the profits, but we are not losing anything. But some hotels do, but it's not really that, you know, grave na talagang lugi ka or you're losing revenue, right? So, yun. Kasi meron namang OWA naman eh. Meron naman siyang OWA. We are being utilized as isolation and quarantine facility. That is also one way of the DOT and the government to actually boost kasi they prohibited leisure guests eh, and nobody wants to stay.
Thank you so much for that, sir. It's nice to know that the tourism industry is still being resilient despite the pandemic po. So, and I hope that in the future, once the pandemic is over, a lot of guests would be able to go to your hotel po and for
Yeah.
the tourism industry to boom again po. Now, for our last question, sir. What is the new normal in the tourism industry that you are looking at after the pandemic?
Well, the new normal, like for example, there's no such thing as magkaroon ng new normal na merong set na standard. Hanggang may pandemic, okay, like what I said, we have revised all our protocols. So all would be um, there would be less contact, right? So now we have to think of a more unique way of building a rapport with the guest because you have very minimal contact. So it means to say, if I'm going to check you in, the standard would be 3 minutes, and then you have to be in your room. So that's why FO front office is creme de la creme, right? Because you must be able to create a relationship within 3 minutes, right? But now it's only 1 minute. Okay, so all of the documents you have to submit it or send it to the hotel in advance. You have to pay it in advance. You have to submit the documents in advance so that when you arrive, you will just get the key and then you go out. So you have to think of we have to think of a lot of ways on how to build a rapport with our guests, and that is by calling them after the check-in, right? So the orientation of the room happens when she is in the room. So would you like me to conduct a room orientation for you so that you will be familiar with the equipment that you can get to enjoy while staying with us, something like that, right?
It, yes, thank you so much, sir. It's really amazing that you can still manage to have rapport despite having such a limited time of ano po, face-to-face contact po.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for answering the question, sir. Now to award the certificate of appreciation to our guest speaker, may we call on the Dean of the Institute of Tourism and Hotel Management, Dr. Joy Sheila Era.
Yes, good afternoon. Far Eastern University Academic Affairs Office Certificate of Appreciation is awarded to Randie Gutierrez Jr. for his contribution in the field of tourism and hotel management and sharing his experiences to the FEU community during the career orientation, mentoring, and program advising series or COMPAS event given the 17th day of April 2021 at Far Eastern University, Manila, signed Maria Teresa Trinidad Pitino, PhD, Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
sir. And
Thank you.
after
Thank you so much, Dean Joy Era. And to give the closing remarks, we will call on our Vice President for Academic Development, Dr. Mirna Quinto.
I would like to sincerely thank our speaker, Mr. Randie Gutierrez, for sharing his expertise with us. COVID-19 pandemic has immensely challenged the hospitality industry. The shutdown of economy, implementation of community lockdowns, imposition of social distancing, and restrictions in mobility have resulted to the temporary closure of many hospitality and tourism businesses. Our speaker has shared that opportunities are underway, tourism being one of the most important industries in the world. More international branches to invest in our country, increasing international travels will happen, and even opportunities abroad. The creativity of industry leaders, as reflected in our speakers' insights today, is a gold mine for new approaches in the service sector. For our tourism and HRM students and future students, remember the values shared by our speaker, such as empathy, patience, humility, appreciation, to make you successful in the field. These people centric values shall make you, our students and our future students, resilient and competent in performing better in this industry. Remember as well these four words that he shared: know, focus, complete, compete, and people. These words are the best guides for all of you to be the best you can in your field of work. Let us continue to have this forum where we share best practices. The inputs from our speakers truly will become our compass to improve the FEU curriculum. Again, thank you, Randy, for inspiring our students and our future students. Good afternoon, everyone.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you so much, Dr. Quinto. Today's session was very informative and educational. We've certainly learned a lot to be resilient and improve upon our challenges. I'm certain that we all need this session of hope, if you will. Thank you again, Sir Randy, and thank you to our featured Tamaraos for attending. Stay safe, everyone, and be brave.
Thank you very much, everyone.